Good morning, students. Welcome to your computer class. Students, today we are going to revise our chapter, which is lesson 1, which we learnt a few months back. So let's start with the revision. And the first thing we are going to talk about is the earlier calculating devices. Students, in my earlier class, I spoke about different calculating devices which we use. So we'll start with the abacus. If you remember, abacus was developed by Tim Cranmer and it was the first calculating device. Now it was divided into two parts, which was heaven and earth, which heaven had two beards and earth had five beards. So till date you will see most of the places they still use abacus to teach students about mathematics. So you don't need a book, or you don't need a pen or paper or anything, any sort of things to solve the sum. You can use these beards to solve the sum. Next we spoke about was the Napier's bone, or which is also called as the Napier's rod. It was developed by Scottish mathematician John Napier in 1617 or 16. So it consists of 9 bones or sticks, and there was number marked on them which was used for calculating. Next we learnt about was Pascaline. Pascaline was invented by Blaise Pascal in 1642. It was the first mechanical calculator. Mechanical calculator means you just use the wheels and you get the answer on the device itself. Now this was, you can see the shape of it. It was rectangular in shape, and you can see that small circles or the moving wheels which were there. Next we learnt about was the difference engine. Can you see this picture and tell me, students, who this person is? Yes, if your answer is Charles Babbage, then your answer is correct. He is Charles Babbage, who is also called as the father of computer. The picture which you see very next to it is the difference engine, and it was developed in the 19th century just to do mathematical tables. It could perform any mathematical calculations, complex mathematical calculations. So apart from being known as the father of computer, Charles Babbage was the one person who developed difference engine and analytical engine. Now what is analytical engine? This was the first general purpose computer which was known as the analytical engine. So students, this is where the birth of computer, we can say, took place. So what were the options? It has input, output and memory devices also, and it could perform mathematical calculation, which is subtraction, multiplication, divisions and other functions. Students, can you see the size of this machine? It is so huge. And what was it doing? It was just doing addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, right? And you can see the small computer which you have today at home or at school, that can do so many things apart from just calculating. So that was the first phase of the computer. Now the history of computer is divided into certain levels. You can, if you remember, I spoke about the computer being divided into so many sections. If you see, the first machine was so huge, which I showed you right now, and today's machine is so small, right? Now in the last we learnt about artificial intelligence. So do you think this journey just happened overnight? The answer is no. It took so many years for the computer to evolve itself, right? From such a big machine to become such a small machine, it took lot of time. Now we're going to talk about first generation computer. Now the first generation computers used vacuum tubes. You can see the picture here of the vacuum tubes, and they were very large in size, very expensive to operate. Why expensive to operate? Because it used a lot of air conditioning system to cool itself. There was so much of electricity which was required. There was so much of backup which was required. At one point of time, there were so many engineers working on it. So all these were adding to the cost of the computer, and plus it was only used for specific purpose, right? Not like anyone can come and anyone can do anything there. If it is meant for medical research, research. It was only dedicated for medical research. You just can't go ahead and use that for some other purpose. Now, it had a very small internal memory, maybe 40 MB, 50 MB, such a huge machine, and just able to store 40 or 50 MB. And it used punched cards. What was punch card? If you remember, I spoke about punch card was a rectangular piece of cardboard in which the information was represented by the holes punched in it. So this was called as the punched card. This was a first generation computer. In first generation computer, we had the example of Mark 1, which was developed by Howard H. Aiken in 1944. Remember the 800-kilometer wire I spoke about? That was the long cable which was needed here. Then we spoke about the second machine which you see here is the ENIAC, which is electronic numerical integrator and computer. This was developed by John Presper Eckert and John William Mauchly in 1946. If you remember, this machine used 18,000 vacuum tubes and weighed more than 27,000 kilograms. Can you imagine that machine? So huge and so heavy. Then we discussed about EDSAC, which was electronic delay storage automatic calculator designed by Professor M. Wilkes and weighed around 6,000 kilograms. So the size of it, from 27,000 kilograms, it has come down to 6,000 kilograms. So still the journey is long, right? So next was the EDVAC. EDVAC stands for Electronic Discrete Variable Automatic Computer. It was proposed by John P. Eckert and John W. Mauchly in 1944, and it was developed. John von Neumann gave the concept to this program, and it was completed in 1948. The weight of this was 8,000 kilogram. Again, it went up to 8,000 kilogram. Next was the UNIVAC, which is Universal Automatic Computer, was developed by John P. Eckert and John W. Mauchly in 1951, weighed around 13,000 kilogram. Again, the weight of it has gone up. So you can see the first generation computer, how long and how big and how heavy it was. Next was the second generation computer. There was few changes made in terms of technology. Now they started using transistors. They were little smaller than first generation and faster. They were cheaper and efficient when compared to first generation computer. Obviously, when the size of the computer reduces, the weight of the computer reduces, the cost also reduces at the same point of time. Now they relied on punch card for input. So till now in second generation we are using punched card. Now some of the examples of second generation computers are IBM 704. The machine which you see here is the IBM 704. That's what this big the machine was. The size has come down if you see. Next was the third generation computer. Now in third generation computer, this is the first time they started using integrated circuit, which is called as IC, or in other word you can call it as the motherboard. They were more faster and more efficient, and this is the first time in third generation computer that we started using keyboard and monitor. Students, till now the mouse has not come into the picture. So third generation is the main changes which took place. Next was the operating system was used in it. What was the first operating system? If you remember, I spoke about DOS, which was the disk operating system. Next is the fourth generation computer. Fourth generation computer worked on uses VLSI and ULSI technology, very large scale integration and ultra large scale integration. Now what does this mean? All the chips were put in one board, one motherboard, and the size of the motherboard was reduced to a very large extent that even it can be easily fit into a small computer chassis or the CPU. Now what were the advantages of it? They are much more smaller. From first generation to second generation, these were much more smaller computers. They were advanced in memory technology. Now students, this small machine, we can store up to 2 terabytes, 4 terabytes, 1 terabyte of data in it. So That's how big this machine was. Now, this is where the first time it led to the development of PC. What is PC? PC stands for personal computer, which means anyone can use a computer for any work. I can use it for teaching purpose. At the same point of time, I can use it in home for some other purpose. Maybe if I'm doing some business, I can use it for my business. I can watch a movie. I can play music. I can do so many things on my computer. So that is where the computer started reaching home. So earlier it was limited to factories, then it reached small businesses and offices, then it reached home. It became PC, personal computers. And these systems are extremely powerful. Now, if you remember, I spoke about that the development of internet was also credited to the fourth generation of computers. Now, you can see so many examples which is mentioned in the picture here. Next we spoke about was the fifth generation computer. In fifth generation computer, I specifically spoke about artificial intelligence, which is AI. What is artificial intelligence? If you remember, I was talking about how the expressions and the body language of humans are being studied, and the programs are created to feed inside the computer so that it can also respond to emotions. Now, if you are in your computer lab and if you look at your computer and just smile to it, you can't expect a reply from a computer saying, "Why are you smiling?" But the same thing, if you do it with this robot, the Sophia robot, which you can see in the picture here, she will certainly respond back to you asking, "Why are you smiling?" or "What is the reason for your smile?" Or if you're angry, she will ask you why you are angry. So what it does is it tries to read your emotion, your facial expression, and then process it and then comes up with the question. And all this happens very fast. That is an example of artificial intelligence. When I'm talking about artificial intelligence, then it's important to talk about John McCarthy, because he was the first person to talk about artificial intelligence at Massachusetts Institute of Technology, which is one of the popular and engineering colleges in the world. Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, which is called as. And you would see a lot of big executives of different companies come out from this university. So it's based in United States of America. That's where Mr. John McCarthy came up with this word, which is artificial intelligence. So this is the next generation of computer. We have just started it, but coming few years we will be seeing more and more an artificial intelligence getting created. So probably when you pass out and when you prepare, when you are going for your higher education, you would see that most people will opt for artificial intelligence as the branch of engineering. So students, this brings us to the end of the revision. I have two homework for you. So we have two questions, which is explain fifth generation of computers. This would be a long answer, so please write at least 4 points and 3 to 4 points. Whatever you know about fifth generation of computer, you can mention it here. And second question is write a short note on Charles Babbage. So you can talk about Charles Babbage and the inventions which he has done. Students, if you have any doubts, you can do these two questions in your computer notebook. You can mention it as revision, chapter number, and you can write these two answers. If you have any doubts or any questions, feel free to reach me through the comment section. So thank you students. Have a good day.